We are back to the European Crucible, and right now EPunks are looking dominant, Caldor. Monkey Menagerie, their spot in the HGC Pro Division is in serious peril.
And I mean, usually I'm one to sugarcoat things a little bit, but I decided to give up that attitude today a little bit. Gonna be honest with you, monkeys are embarrassing right now. This is bad. I expected the team to come in and really fight for their spot. We heard it from Splendor, and the entire phase, their whole spiel was basically, listen, we can't commit as much time as we did in the past to it. A lot of the players have gone back to university, which is absolutely understandable.
Yeah.
I applaud the decision. I really think it's a great move. But then they said, okay, we may have not really had the perfect phase. We didn't put as much time in as we might have, as we could have, maybe as we should have. But we are going to go all in for the Crucible. And to be honest, if that's what they look going all in with their practice, and if that's the level, then they don't deserve to be in the league, period. Like, they had a break now. Could turn it around. It's only 2 maps. I mean, it's a best of 7. So there's a lot that can still happen here. But so far, from what we've seen up to this point, I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, we've seen them do so much work in the past.
Yeah.
With some of the matches where I was watching a series where you basically were like, where was this play the entire season? What happened? And right now, this is the most important series potentially of their HGC career. Where's that Monkey Menagerie? We need to start seeing that in game number 3. And let's have a look at what map it's going to be on, ladies and gentlemen. And Carol? Right now, they are up against the wall. Are they going to stick with the first pick? Yes, they are, as EPunks take us to Infernal Shrines.
So, as we said before, a 2-0 lead in the best of 7 is fantastic, but at the same time, let's be honest here, you are still miles away from winning that series. Once you're getting that 3-0 in, all of a sudden it becomes incredibly difficult to turn this around. But with the momentum that you can build up through a single win, there's always a chance that one map win now for the Monkeys could turn this. But at this point, I'm looking at the games and I'm asking myself, do you really want this? Because you haven't really shown it. And EPunks are hungry. They want it. We talked about this. They worked so hard to get into this spot. Sonic is now in his 2nd Crucible in a row where he's trying to push into HGC. The last time it didn't work out for him. Now he's trying it again. The rest of the players have already been in HGC, with some exceptions, where they said, we want to come back to this. Grant Paquette is even more fired up because he says, not only am I in do I want to come back into HGC, I want to kick the monkeys out. That team kicked me, and I want to show them that that was a mistake. And he has been very vocal about it. On social media, everywhere, he said, there's no competitive drive on that team. I was frustrated. I wanted so much more. People were absolutely okay with being mediocre. That's not who I am. That's the reason why I got kicked, even though I wanted more than everyone else. And now he's there and saying, like, listen, this is me. I'm putting the time in, and I'm going to take you down now.
Yeah, and he's got a really good chance to do so. This team, they, like you said, they look hungry. They look strong, more importantly, during the entirety of Open Division outside of the playoffs. I think it was described by you, in fact, of EPunks look like a team playing out of their league. They don't look like they should be in Open Division. They look like an HGC team with like a couple rough edges. When playoffs came around, they showed some weakness. Now they're coming in, and they look like more of an HGC team than the Monkeys, that's for sure right now.
I mean, I had a long interview with Lauber on my interview series where we talked about issues that they, for example, had because they dominated Open Division. And the big critic of the Open Division was that Open Division as a general was one of the weakest seasons if you look at all the teams that we had so far. So it was always like, okay, you dominate Open Division, but what's the standard there? Is that really something that you can be proud of to an extent where you say, okay, we can rival HGC teams now? And I talked about this with Lauber, and he said, listen, we know that the competition is not as fierce. We know that once we're going into HGC and trying to play in the Crucible, we have to, we are measured against a different standard. But we are currently trying our best to not only start scrimming HGC teams, they got those scrims, by the way, but also that we have the mindset where we are not getting cocky just because we were able to win Open Division tournaments. And that's what you see here right now. They put the work in, and it shows.
And you mentioned the fact that you talked to them after the playoffs about what went wrong and they got complacent. They've now seen what can happen if they do get complacent, if they do get overconfident, and it's not good. They have that warning at probably the best time well, earlier would have been a better time, where before they actually lost their chance to choose their opponent. But right now, it's not looking like it matters.
I talked to them after a few of the training matches that they played against top 4 HGC teams, where they traded evenly into them. And I always talked to them and said, listen, you have to recognize that those teams are looking for different things than you. Some of them are trying out new compositions. Some of them are having a bit of a different focus, or they already completed all their matches in HGC, so it's not as important to them. And immediately, Lauba and everyone was like, dude, don't worry. Like, we are absolutely aware of this. We're not saying we're on the same level as these teams, but we are looking at what we can get away with, and we are very, very focused on what we have to do in order to win. And at the same time, recognizing that we still are a team that can be taken out by our opponents here. So that attitude, that's what you need. And so far, they have it. I want to see the Monkeys after this short break now showing a similar attitude, where they are saying, listen, we still want this. Yeah. We want to stay in HGC, and we're going to prove it right now, starting with Infernal Shrines. Yeah. And that's a chance for them to make exactly that point.
Right now, you were talking about Lauba earlier. He predicted a clean 4-0 for the EPunks, and right now, they're only 2 maps away from it. Monkey Menagerie have to start stepping it up.
I mean, you talk about Lauba. He said, like, in the interview, this is unworthy of an HGC team. When he talked about the Monkeys, he literally said that. So
yeah, the shots were fired, and right now they are hitting home. The question is, can they give the killing blow? 2 maps away, Infernal Shrines, already starting off with the Alex Straza ban. Very sensible from Monkey Menagerie. It's a good Grand Paqueta hero, fantastic on the map. But Muradin being taken over the Diablo, which is still incredibly prioritized by most of the teams these days, but Muradin is always a safe choice.
Yeah, and safe choice is exactly what hits it here, because we saw Ramabola getting severely punished in game number 1. With Muradin, you have also a tool that can get you out of the fight immediately when you're in trouble, and he has also the panic button in form of Avatar that can really help you with that too. Maybe a bit of a safer choice for him. Urel Tyrande.
Yep.
This is
Tyrande with the series by EPunks, so that's cool to see.
The one thing is, you talked about how strong Cassius Urel is and that he really feels confident on that hero. With what we talked about earlier, where the Monkeys have said that they feel one of the weak points in the lineups of the EPunks could be Cass because of his lack in competitive experience, and also because they're not sure how strong he really is as a solo laner. I could have seen them start to target Urel a little bit, not only because from a meta perspective Urel is powerful, but also because you can try and put him into an uncomfortable spot where he's the one that you're trying to crack. So they don't do that, and this is now the 3rd time in a row that EPunks got Urel for him absolutely uncontested.
Exactly, and also I just mentioned Tyrande. I said it was the first one in this series for EPunks. It's apparently their first Tyrande on recorded record. This is once again due to how the patches lined up, etc. But it's still cool to see. This is going to be a first for broadcast games to see Grand Paqueta on that Night Elf Ranger. It's cool to see.
And I want to see what they're comboing it up with. All right, already a Tassadar.
Okay.
That immediately leaves us with a couple of options of what they could play. Double support you can play. We've seen Vala attempts. Tracer is more likely, but we have seen Valas in the past. And if you are...
Vala's got pretty decent AoE on this map mode.
The AoE is definitely something that I'm looking towards right now. So it depends on how you want to play it. If you're trying to play with the multi-shot hybrid build and you're trying to just make sure that you get the objective, Vala would be great. Then again, Tracer is fantastic here.
Absolutely.
You have shields through Turiel, through Tassadar, Tyrande, extra armor if you can coordinate it, if you can hit her. So if you just look for kills, that's another big option here for them.
They need damage output though.
Then again,
look at their composition right now.
Even Jimmy.
Jimmy would be fine.
Can get Jimmy with that too.
Cassia, very smart. All of those heroes we just mentioned are very auto-attack heavy, and of course, that's the idea of the Tassadar. It's very sensible, picking up the blinds in the form of that Cassia beforehand. And now, what's the choice?
I'm not a fan of Vala in general, but with this lineup, you can get away with her if you want her. But we get the Tracer that we kind of expected.
Yeah, the quadruple T composition. Tracer, Tyrande, Tassadar, Tyrael.
I hate you. I was just about to make that point.
Hey!
Stole it away. Yeah.
Fantastic composition. Everything synergizes from EPunks, but they have a lot of reliance on Tracer. If Dahaka, if Alex the Pro G can land those tongues, if Muradin Remaballer can land those stuns, it's going to have to be Celestial Attunement from Tyrande, I would say. But the Spell Shield could be good against cooldown as well.
Okay, I nearly screwed up.
Oh.
Huh?
Why?
Like a caster math thing. Caught it. No, the Tracer, I actually really like her. This would have been one of the few drafts where I wouldn't have been upset if you go for Vala.
Yeah.
I mean, again, I'm a Vala fanboy, but she just doesn't really fit into the meta right now. I'm pretty critical of, for example, Psyzone Gaming, who played her a lot in the Open Division games, where I'm like, it looks a little bit like you are you have a bit of tunnel vision on her. But with all the protection in here, no matter who you play, if you put a Jimmy in here, a Tracer, it doesn't matter, you are going to have insane protection.
Yeah.
Again, Cassia might be enough. So far, things haven't really gone well for the Monkeys. Can the EPunks get the 3-0?
We're going to have to find out very shortly, but for now, we can continue to talk about this draft a little bit. Let's move away from the Tracer and EPunks in general and move on to the draft of the Monkey Menagerie. They have that Gul'dan, fantastic poke setup, good, decent AoE, but very little finishing power for the shrines other than that Q. Cassie is a little bit better at that with Fend.
Gul'dan is, for me, again, like the big pick here.
Yeah. It's such a disruption tool. If you get Horrify off, you're going to be insane.
Fun fact, not only do 4 heroes on the side of the EPunks start with a T, every single one of them also has an A in them.
Oh yeah, well played.
After you stole the T thing, I had to come up with something else. I was just like...
That's what you've been doing this entire time.
It's like, draft, what is he talking about? Like, let's see, A, B, okay.
No, we're playing checkers here, kind of playing 4D chess.
Coming back to your point, though, the Cassia can definitely be the linchpin, but I really like the Gul'dan, just simply because he has not only the wave clear, he has the one-shot potential after 16 in particular, and a stacked Echoed Corruption, but the 10. Horrify can destroy this if you get a good one off. Yeah. But that's, again, the big question. Can you get that?
After Sank, potentially, might have to be the option. If it even is a Sank, I would expect so, because what's the follow-up for Judgment?
I mean, even if you're just getting the Horrify off and then the Haka follows it up with the Dragon Isolation or Mirrodin stun, all of that can really help you to secure a kill.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for waiting. We are heading in to game number 3. And spawning on the left-hand side, currently 0-2 down, it is Monkey Menagerie. With Cassia played by Maka, Whitemane played by Splendor, Gul'dan played by Crosby, Muradin played by Remaballer, and Dahaka played by Alex the Pro G.
And over to the right side of the map, the EPunks with a 2-0 lead in this series. Cast for the 3rd time in a row with Urel, Sonic Le Beast now on Tracer, Grand Paquette on Tyrande, going into the Celestial Attunement, Roskmek with Tassadar and Lauber. 3rd game, 3rd frontliner, playing Turiel.
Very interesting low CC comp coming in for EPunks in terms of the frontliners. It's very much more reliant on the backliners in the form of that Tyrande. It's the main stun tool as Cass being forced to pull back a bit. Whereas Monkey Menagerie, lots of stuns, and they're going into a Thunderstroke build at level 1.
Absolutely fun build to play with Cassia. It's my favorite build when playing with her. It's absolutely fantastic when once you get that stacked up, you get the cooldown reduction, the pierce later on. There's a lot of fun playing that build if it fits into the team composition. Also, when it comes to stacking, we're seeing the perfect storm for Remaballer. Going to work on that too. And of course, Gul'dan then with his Echoed Corruption on level 1. So a lot of early stacking quests for the Monkeys.
Little bits of poking happening back and forth as Urel, the very similar matchup to the first game. Urel and Dahaka just have a little bit of a duel up in the top lane. No clear winner to that so far. Just Alex is very happy to just clear out the minions near towers as opposed to being forced to fight in the lane.
Yeah, the Monkeys, they had a bit of a break now after losing 2 maps, and they hopefully talk things through here because so far things are looking pretty grim. Not getting a single kill in the first game and then being shut down in game number 2 of Volskaya as well definitely didn't help morale, I'd expect. So right now, a turnaround here would be fantastic. If they lose on Infernal Shrines, it would mean that in the upcoming, they would basically have to reverse sweep the EPunks in the best of 7. That's already tough enough as is in the best of 5. In the best of 7, it's brutal.
Maka getting healed up by Splendor, keeping everything under control for the moment. As the Impalers taken out in the bottom lane. Very little action, but while all this is happening, EPunks will give up this mercenary camp as they have not great wave clear, but enough once Tassadar rotates down, as he is using that wave clear in mid lane.
Yeah, Tassadar was in the middle, so there was just no chance for them to really go for the camp and contest it.
Yeah, wave clear is actually a fairly big issue coming in for EPunks. They're going to have to burn through, going to have to put a lot of effort into this, rely on Tassadar rotations a lot. this could be something punishable by Monkey Menagerie if they're able to get a decent angle. But right now, EPunks have been playing very safe, very grouped up with their rotations. Only Tassadar has been rotating on his own, and of course he has Dimensional Shift. So he's always near enough to his allies to gain assistance.
Yeah, I mean, to be absolutely honest with you, I think when you're looking at the setup from the EPunks, it already screams, hey, we want to get a couple of kills here.
Yeah.
So the Tyrael pick is still something that's really interesting. You should get a lot of value on the Shrine fights, but I think there were definitely alternatives that they could have gone for in terms of their front line with the setup that they're running here. So they decide in favor of Tyrael. They have a lot of sustaining, Urel with the armor, shields from Tassadar. Tassadar, by the way, going on level 4 into the Life Leech. Not going into the extra armor, which you oftentimes see, but mostly because in this case we have Tracer, and she's the one who benefits the most from the shields, and most of the shields should hit her, so the life steal is going to be fantastic for Sonic sustain.
It still affects pretty much everyone else as well. Lauber is, of course, Tyrael, a very auto-attack heavy hero sometimes, and Tyrande, of course, some of her healing on other heroes comes from auto-attacks as well, so it's good for most targets here. Rosmec eats a lot of damage there, but it's fine for the moment.
I don't really see how EPunks can win the Shrine. I think they can get kills, but just focusing on the Shrine here from their perspective seems weird. If you get the kill, though, that's a different story. And there we go, Crosby. It's going down. That's kill number 1.
Nova gets dragged, though, gets taken out, but this is going to be a big explosion. Actually dodged. Alex able to borrow, and Splendor able to back out of it. Everyone escapes that. That was some great positioning by Menagerie.
Yeah, there we go now. Getting the kill, and now they can turn onto the Shrine. That makes a lot more sense now. Just focusing on the Shrine and trying to race your opponent here with that setup is nearly impossible for them. The Monkey's back to business now too. It's currently even, but Cass got caught pretty far out.
Shield.
Gets the shield. Is Alex getting another hit in?
Nice.
Oh, nice jump. Really well done.
Good saves by EPunks, but like you said, with a 1-for-1 trade, Monkey Menagerie, they just grab the fountain. They will easily take this first Punisher of the game. Now, how much value can they get out of this?
I mean, the story is really going to be the kills against the objective control that we have on the both sides here. The EPunks, they got one, they traded for Tyrael, but as we saw, the Tyrael explosion didn't get too much damage against the Punisher itself. Tassadar actually pushing out the mid lane and then starting to rejoin the fight up at the top as the Monkeys are going deep.
They're looking for Cass. Cass is low on mana, so has to use that jump away. Stun onto Loba. He's fine though, able to in fact dodge most of the corruption as well, but this will be likely a fort. But look at this, Loba, he's moving forward. They're going to try and make a play. No, they have to disengage. Cass once again very low on health. Loba also dropped low. Punisher finally finished off, but they will escape.
I really like what Monkeys did here. They know it's an Arcane Punisher and they push in aggressively since they know that the wave clear and also the clear against the Punisher itself from the EPunks isn't great. Again, what do the EPunks want with this composition? They are not looking to out-macro the opponent with wave clear, and they're not really looking to win the Shrine in a race. They are looking for kills. They're trying to be aggressive with this. They're trying to empower Sonic so that Tracer is able to go in deep and get those kills. And if they can't do that, then they're going to have a rough time. Monkeys identify that. And with the first Punisher, they immediately said, boys, they have no clear. Let's just push in aggressively, try and take down the minion wave as soon as we can on the other side, and then push through. So they get a massive amount of XP and infrastructure through push number 1.
That's a big deal. Able to put themselves closer to that level 10. Monkey Menagerie looking much more solid. EPunks, their draft sort of comes into play a little bit later, but they can't afford to start dropping this far behind or lose members as Loba gets chased down, but he's able to back away.
Yeah, you phrase it really well. They can't afford to fall too far behind now, but their draft really comes online once their death timers increase, once that they have their level 10s, once that they have more kill potential in general. And that's when the Monkeys need to be careful. So around that second Shrine in particular, when we have the objective respawning, that's when things should really heat up because those level 10 abilities will be in play. That's the Valkyrie, by the way.
That's cool. I like that. Being able to try and grab someone like Tyrande, especially from the backline, could be huge here if they can pull that off.
If you get Tyrande, she is insta-dead.
Exactly. That could be exactly what they need here. Loba gets dragged, tanking through for the moment, drops the Eldruins, and will back out.
Good stuns that we're having from Grandpa Getty here too. 5 stacks so far. Talking stacks, Tassadar nearly done with this level 1 quest.
Nice.
50 away from completing it, so that's going to be powerful for him.
Tyrael just gets a little bit of harassment done. But that seems to be all he will get for the moment, as he is holding his level 10.
I've been thinking a little bit about a judgment potential here with Tyrande, but I just don't know if you can let Sanctification go.
They actually have all of the burst talents, actually. They have the parting gift from Tracer. So they have basically everything they need, but they're sank. Okay.
You can't let that go.
It was a long shot.
I mean, even with the shields on Tassadar, with the armor from Urel, not getting Sanctification just seems like an insane choice. And especially on Shrines, they go straight for the talent. Makes so much sense, especially after Horrify. But this is what it really comes down to. Now we're going to see, we're going to get a bit of a closer look to what the EPunks can do with this draft. Is Tracer, is Sonic strong enough to get these kills and help the team win the team fight and then the objective, or are the Monkeys going to walk away with another Punisher?
Sonic the Beast. It's all up to him. Stormbolt from Rema misses. Everyone pulling back. Armor applied by Cass. Quick knockback, preventing the engage. Blind lands on everyone. Nicely done there by Cassia. Maka, once again, putting on quite the show, but Sonic is going in. There's the bomb, but not enough to finish the job.
Good damage, though. Getting the damage in against Maka and forcing the Monkeys back here. The position established by the EPunks on the Shrine. That works for them so far. Nice stun coming out again from Grand Paquette as the Monkeys are retreating to tap off at the fountain, but that gives a bit more time on the Shrine for the EPunks.
We're seeing the weakness here of White Mane out of combat healing. She's very limited to a level 1. Horrify is landed. Loba is dropping very low in the backline with Tyrande silence. They dive deep. Maka's tanking through though. Here's a good pull-in onto Grand Paquette, but he's prevented by the Shrine as Loba gets destroyed. But big explosion. See ya, Maka, as he gets taken out.
2 for 1 though. Nice second kill from the Monkeys' perspective. 35 against 32, and the Monkeys are going in again to secure another Punisher. And not even Avatar had to be used here by Murden, so the EPunk is starting to get a few kills in, but the Monkeys responding in kind and now a level ahead. The draft so far not working out for the EPunks. They had an idea coming in, but it's not panning out against the Monkeys.
They're at one of their best power spikes as well, of course, at level 10. But that Horrify, again, you called it out in the draft. This is the key tool that is dictating this game right now as Monkey Menagerie begin wading through the EPunks with another fort down. They are pushing in the bot lane to make it 3 forts to 0 in their favor.
This is a situation in which you are very likely that around the next Shrine, level 16, is going to be close for the Monkeys, if not already reached, and you might fight against a talent disadvantage, or against a talent advantage here. So EPunks in an uncomfortable position. They have been hoping for kills through the draft. That hasn't happened so far, and the Monkeys have exploited the weakness in the draft ruthlessly. And that's exactly what they're now continuing to do. They know they have the upper hand, so they are just trying to control the map as best as they can.
Right now, it is a level and a bit lead for Monkey Menagerie, which is currently equating to a talent lead, but EPunks will change that very shortly. And this is problematic. They're trying to just grab experience wherever they can. It seems to be on objectives where EPunks look for the fight, even though they have a slower clear speed. Now with Ricochet online, that's going to be a little bit better for EPunks, but it's still looking problematic.
I mean, in an ideal world for the EPunks, you would actually look for fights before the Shrine starts.
Yeah.
Because you have level 16 as a threat against you, and Monkeys are going to try and find that. They have a global, they have Alex on the Haka, so he can literally just try and run the side lane for XP. So if you are the EPunks, in an ideal world, you are trying to fight now.
Will slow and steady win the race for EPunks, because right now Monkey Menagerie, they've refocused, like you said, they found the weakness in the draft and they are exploiting it to their best of their abilities, trying to avoid these fights because they can. They want level 16 before the next objective starts, and with level 15 available, that is certainly within their reach.
It's also, if you win another Punisher, the Monkeys can actually go through the bot lane and try and get the first keep of the game. So EPunks, they have to start and be more aggressive. They need to flip that switch here. And they're starting to try and get at least some structures here at the top lane. That's going to be important because that's a huge experience sink that they can use. So already trying to break through the wall here and getting a bit closer to the Monkeys. But the situation still remains. You are not going to outsock the Monkeys. That's not going to happen here.
Sonic blinks away. Fort taken out by Loba, who's also able to teleport away with that Angelic Flash. And a quick shield to keep that minion wave pushing in. They're trying to keep pressure on pre-16 to try and force Monkey Menagerie to react and stop soaking, or at least get some structure value while Monkey Menagerie is soaking.
And there's still rotations, but they have very little CC that they can actually use to force a fight here. That's one of the problems. You need to really jump on an opponent. And now 16 is there. 1.5 levels away for the EPunks, and we should see the next shrine being announced in just a few seconds. So from a timing perspective, this is working, there it is, beautifully well for the monkeys.
Lava teleports away. Lack of wave clear once again coming into effect for EPunks. This camp will be stolen by Monkey Menagerie unless they make an engaged play here against a level 16 team, and they very wisely do not go for it.
You have a choice if you're the monkeys now. And this is, do we give up the shrine, yes or no? Yeah. Are we okay sacrificing the bot lane, potentially sacrificing the keep here, just so we can force fights around the 16 talents here? Or are we not sacrificing it, fight now against the talent advantage and risk losing the game?
Double blink for Tyrael, giving himself that dance in, dance out potential so that he's not getting caught out due to his lack of CC and escape potential. So I do like this.
Okay, so they're giving it up. They're giving up the shrine. But normally when you're trying to do that, the counterplay is you're trying to, at least in that time frame where your opponent takes the shrine and the Punisher, you try and get value somewhere else so that you can at least defend on the same talent here. They are soaking waves, but I really expected them to make a rotation topside and try and get the fort.
Yeah, they're not doing anything with this time, really. They're just sort of soaking experience, which will give them 16. But like you said, they could have got that with the fort as well and given themselves an opportunity for late game.
Next big move here. Monkeys are going to delay this. They're going to delay taking the Punisher, because the longer they delay it, the better their chances of playing around level 20 with the next one. So they are just like buying a little bit of time to get those camps. They have Rema Baller close. He can always grab it whenever need be. And just delaying it by half a minute is already fantastic, because you're working towards a potential level 20 pick later on. So they're just forcing EPunks to at some point react to that. There we go. Rema Baller takes it. They have taken all the camps away right now. They still have the Haka topside he can burrow in. They're 2.5 levels away from hitting level 20. So just delaying that slightly. EPunks have their level 16 now. But if EPunks don't win a fight soon, then they are going to get completely demolished in the long run here.
16 versus 17. This is their best chance. Armor applied by Yarel. Powering Tyrael, making sure he doesn't get blown up, but it might not be enough. Horrify is used. Tyrael gets a last second sack, but here comes the beautiful... Actually, no, the Valkyrie was denied by that great sacrification, but with the engage onto Maka, he's going to be able to tank through it as the Punisher puts so much pressure onto Sonic.
Sonic on the retreat here. A nice engage by him, trying to go for Maka, but it was not the kill that they were hoping for. The Punisher gets taken down. It's unlikely that the monkeys can end here. EPunk's actually keeping everyone alive, at least for now. There's another jump. No kill. Alex even with a bit of trouble here, apparently. That's an interesting time to pause the game.
Yeah, this is close. The Punisher's leapt in. They've dove past the fort. It's close to going down. That was a tense moment to pause there.
Now, it should be the end of it. If you don't find a kill here, the Punisher is at 15% at this moment. So there shouldn't really be a kill. There's currently no direct threat against anyone on the side of the EPunks. So unless someone dies right now, that should be the end of the aggression.
Yeah.
But you're already in a position where we have a massive advantage in experience for the monkeys.
Yep.
They have taken the bottom keep. All you want to do at this point is make sure that around the next objective you have your level 20, you try to take another Punisher, and then you end with that. And we come back to the same point. EPunks, they need to find kills, and they just can't find them right now, at least not in the fights that matter. I mean,
it's a very low kill game in general. 3-2 right now in kills. But the fact is, every single time those kills have been trades. 1 for 1, 2 for 1 in one case in Monkey's favor. EPunks, they're finding kills, but they're never trading up. And that's what they need to be doing right now.
And you can't really blame Sonic here. He's always trying. He's always on that backline. He's trying to get the kill against Maka in particular.
Yeah.
The problem is that it's always negated. And every single time he dives in deep, he risked a lot moving in as the Punisher moved through. And he got a huge amount of pressure onto Maka and forced Cassia back. But they just can't get that kill. If he takes him down in that moment, they get a free defense, and maybe they can even take a second or third hero. But they need that momentum, because they're so far behind that without gaining momentum through kills, they're just going to get snowballed. It's going to be the same story throughout the entire game. Next objective spawns, you're talent behind. It's not going to be a Storm talent. You already miss out on the bot lane. And I mean, let's not forget, they also have the Haka as a global.
Yeah, they're just going to keep getting further and further ahead. They're going to hit level 20 very quickly after this. But EPunks, they don't have a global. They have their level 20s spike, quote unquote, Holy Arena might actually be pretty clutch because their biggest issue right now seems to be a little bit of damage loss that they don't have. That could be a super big deal.
The question is always do you get that far? Because you should have the objective around level 20 for the Monkeys and level 16 talent tier for EPunks. And then you have to defend against another Punisher. Even if you pull that off, there should be a second keep that falls with it. And then you're finally in a 20-20 position.
And what we were talking about earlier, wave clear for EPunks, it's not great.
I mean, you look at the setup, and really, the whole idea of the draft that we see from the EPunks was to get kills, win the team fight. You have different ways how you can play on Infernal Shrines. They chose to go into a team fight setup, whereas the Monkeys said, we want to have kill potential through opportunities that we can open up with Horrify, with the Valkyrie, several others, with, let's say, Muradin, for example, jumping in and getting a Stormbolt. But we also heavily commit to having wave clear available that allows us to grab the objective. And from the get-go, EPunk said, we don't need that. We're going to kill you.
But they're not.
That doesn't pay off right now. So still a little bit torn on how much value that match has to me. I feel right now it's a draft for the EPunks that so far hasn't worked out. But at least the Monkeys play a bit more discipline and control, I would probably call it.
Yeah.
Like the approaches that they have to the fight look a lot better here. That might also be because so much focus is at this point on Make, who has always been the player on the lineup that wanted it the most, that has the most competitive spirit, and he's currently playing great, so he's trying to play them to keep them in. He's making sure that he doesn't fall on Cassia, which is a huge part. But from a draft perspective, this could be where the Monkeys start the comeback, just simply because the EPunks losing a game could take all the momentum away from them.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to head to a very quick 3-minute break, but do not go anywhere. When we come back, we will see the conclusion of game number 3. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Unfortunately, we are still in a pause, but hopefully we'll be getting back into the game very shortly, Cal.
Yeah, and it's actually not a technical issue here. Yeah. Apparently, Alex has food poisoning.
Yeah.
Not really...
Not good timing. I mean, his team's close to winning, so hopefully he can get it all out of his system very quickly and get back into the game. He's been having too much essence this game. He's a little bit too much.
Exactly. To be fair, with traditional food poisoning, there's a good chance that once you get everything out of your system, you're fine.
Yeah, there is a chance. So we can hope so. We will hope so.
Yeah, one of the reasons why you don't want to put your entire life of HGC onto a single day, because stuff like this can unfortunately happen. So I hope that he gets better soon. But yeah, that's apparently what happened here. At some point, it was just like pause, and I'm going to be in the bathroom for the next few minutes.
So of course, there is a pause timer. They currently have about 3 minutes-ish remaining, so we will hope that he is able to return before then. But for now, we can go back into talking about the game, and we can actually see some of the quest talents on our little preview monitor. Right now, Thunderstroke is on 33 stacks, so he's getting there.
I mean, let's be honest here. They need to really mess up to lose this game now. Monkeys are in a demanding position. It's not that we're having two drafts that evenly trade into each other. So that's the big part why the advantage of the Monkeys is so strong right now. EPunks are literally trailing behind the entire time now after they couldn't get the kills in the earlier stages, especially around level 10 with the second Punisher. That was really when they needed to win the objective, and they didn't. So right now, unless the Monkeys make a massive mistake, overstay, overchase, and then lose 2-3 heroes that allow EPunks to get back in experience and map control, outside of that scenario, it's going to be very difficult for the EPunks to come back into this, just simply because the way the map works at this point, you're going to always fight against an advantage on your opponent's side.
I mean, looking at some of the other quests here, 35 for Echo Corruption, 21 for Perfect Storm. They're almost there on basically all of their quests. 24, sorry, on the actual Stormbolt quest for that double stun. Yep. They're going to be able to take down the keep. If they don't end the game here, they're going to be hitting more power spikes with more lightning javelins, more corruption, more storm bolts, and multiple people storm bolts. It's even harder for, like you said, even harder for EPunks to come back right now.
Yeah, Monkeys should really just play the safe. You take the keep, move back. Like, run with your advantages. You are going to complete quest talents on baselines and level 1s that are extremely powerful, that give you power spikes. On top of that, you just play safe, you split out on the lanes, you get the experience, but you don't engage. You get your level 20, and outside of that, you will have such a massive advantage in power level over the next objective that you should get that quite easily. So I really think from the perspective of the Monkeys, that would be the safest play here if they can just like take that time and show that discipline.
So there's about 1 minute left, so we will find out very shortly if Alex is able to return to his PC. Otherwise, of course, via the rules of HGC, they will have to play on with a bot.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to have Alex back
I really hope so.
that.
I can actually see him just in the chat now. So
get like a paperback next to the PC for that moment. Exactly. You're nearly done with that game.
Yeah.
And you have
just finish the game. You have
let
a little
the team
bit of time.
The team can draft and you can do your thing. But yeah, so we're back in, guys.
We're back in.
We're gonna finish the game up here. Alex back to business. Lauba is down, and that's the explosion value. Here's the counter kill. 2 for 1 right now. Tracer is dead, and so is Cassie and Gul'dan. The damage is gone on the side of the Monkeys.
The 2 for 2 as Cass is wading forward, looking for Alex, who started this kill train immediately as the game jumps back in. There's a Lunar Flare. Can Cass keep up this chase? They get the slowing and the damage-reducing owl as Alex is icing the cap. They stop him escaping. He is out of there.
He's out. So it's a 2 for 2 trade with the EPunks 3 levels away from 20, 1 level away for the Monkeys. Monkeys in a great spot, but it shows how clutch that pause actually was, just as everything was basically happening in that game, so in that fight. So our own European 3-2-3 movement that we just had here, a little bit of a lag F story, but that being said, great position for the Monkeys. Fantastic spot for them.
Then level 19, they have a keep down. Next objective's going to be in top lane, so they can empower that with their Fallen Shaman, depending on when it spawns. They have so much opportunity, Cass. This is not the time to die. Isolation is perfectly timed. Does he have it? He doesn't have Ardent Defender up, so he goes down.
Alex escapes. That would be great. If they don't fall here, that would be fantastic for them. Fantastic position for the Monkeys. It gets even better. They get kills here. They're starting to move in again. Horrify, not great, but it might still be enough to threaten Grand Pakete. Rema Baller moving away. But that kill against Cast allows them now to go for the camps. They can literally steal the camps away from the EPunks. Get even farther ahead here.
They could go get the Fallen Shaman if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Now. They are looking so solid as they move back in. They're going to be taking down the Impaler camp, getting a little bit more pressure there. EPunks, they're going to try and just quickly move up the top lane, as that's the lane with the easiest, most accessible experience. Maybe even set up a trap, but without your Rel, that would be so risky.
But this is the easy 20 now. I mean, EPunks are still 1.5 levels away, so it's not completely hopeless.
That comeback XP in the 2-for-2 trade was pretty decent.
Yes, and even if you'd lose out on the objective and you still get the level 20 to defend, then at least you have that going for you. But here comes the level 20 for the Monkey Menagerie. And we've been calling also, of course, the baseline quest. Now, Cassia on level 1 is on 37 stacks. 37 stacks also on the Echoed Corruption. That's a huge amount of quests that are going to be close to finish. And I actually like what Monkeys are doing now. They even want to prep the top lane.
Yeah, Muradin's already done, of course, with his Stormbolt. Just finished it in that last fight. And Dahaka, he's been finished for a long time with his level 1.
They see Urel. Urel shows bot lane. And that's the moment where they immediately say, okay, we can make something happen here. But Marka, Splendor, both of them getting attacked here quite heavily. Walking away. But they got the turret. They got the tower. That was an important one.
They got the tower in exchange for the Scarlet Aegis. That's a pretty big heroic, but it's only a minute cooldown, 60 seconds. It'll be up by the time EPunks probably rotate up, as EPunks, they're 120. There's no way they're going to fight without it.
Yeah, if you lose the Protector, the Punisher now, you are going to lose one of your keeps. Marker attacked immediately, but they're jumping out again. This is the moment where the EPunks have to turn around. Here comes the Horrify.
The Horrify is decent. As they, no, the Horrify is still being held, sorry, as they look for the turnaround. But there's Impalers and Catapults in the bot lane.
Oh, my bad. I could have sworn they used the Horrify there, but it was only the Echo Corruption that came through.
Yeah.
Catapults to the bot lane, as you already called it, on the core pretty soon. Half a level away for the EPunks on 20. And here come the Monkeys, pushing on the objective.
Catapults are starting to hit the core. It's about to be 3 catapults. They're moving it. There's the Horrify, but it's Whitemane who is dropped first. Marker goes down too.
No.
What? EPunks
Double
hit 20.
kill.
They're looking for more.
They have 20 and they're going in for more. They're trying to get more. And we have the kill against Gul'dan. All of a sudden, the EPunks going in. They get 1, 2, 3, 4. They completely wipe the Monkeys off the map. The Catapults are homing in. They're taking points off the core, but it's not enough to decide anything here. 78% on the side of the EPunks core, and they're pushing through the 4 top side and go straight for the keep.
I can't believe it, but they're actually trying to do it. They take down the front wall. Tassadar heads up to start focusing down the top objective, trying to get that Punisher. Tyrael shields are going to be so important for them to rush this down. They have a couple minions. Another minion wave on the way. Urel is still soaking experience, but more importantly, is clearing bot lane. More time with less catapult pressure is going to be what they need to end this game here and now.
Great position for the EPunks now. They went in against the Storm talent disadvantage and found the kills. Scarlet Aegis not being ready was a huge part of this. Great attack from the EPunks, getting the early 2-for-1 trade, and then following it up with 3 additional kills. Now the Monkeys in a spot where they have to somehow defend, and their keep is already nearly down. They know that this Punisher is going to be tough to deal with. Arcane Punisher to boot.
They need Urel. Urel needs to join them right now. They need to try and make a play. Actually, oh, they're expecting the backdoor. Very smart. Channeling their Hearthstones just in case. It's a Monkey Menagerie core attempt. Their core race isn't amazing, but it's enough. Look at them staggering that. But
even
now, Punisher giving them the vision. The Owl as well. They know now. They begin to move forward. Urel needs to join them. They can't afford to waste too much Punisher health. Yeah, they were finally down.
They were afraid of the backdoor attempt here, but that's currently not happening. And here comes, of course, also the Twilight Archon moving in again. The Punisher already taking a bit of damage, but already on the core here. As we're seeing the aggression. Horrify being used. Is that going to be enough? Alex is also a bit low. Needs to be careful here. Here comes the attack against Tyrael, and Lauber goes down.
But that's going to be the Tyrael explosion onto the core here. Tries to get onto Gul'dan as well, but can't do it. Tassadar is doing a great start by the Punisher, able to take down Whitemane.
Whitemane is down. Maka fighting with the Punisher here, trying to take it down before they can go for the core. It's actually a 4 versus 4 right now. And that Punisher is down. EPunks can't end.
Great pull by Maka, but Twilight Archon is still up. Looks like they're going to keep trying, though, Keldor. Good double stun. Amazing damage from the cooldown. Alex from low. Sonic has to pull back. Great tunneling claws there.
And again, they're being attacked here, and they need to be careful. The EPunks, if they move back, if one of those storm balls hit and Maka follows it up, that might be enough here. There's again the stun!
Beautiful, but he gets away! The insane stun by Rema for the save.
And Maka not going to the Nexus. That was actually the most important part. He didn't go left. That's where Rosbeck dropped the storms, and he knew they was coming. He moved away here, and now we have both sides lacking a keep on the map. And what a defense here by the Monkeys.
That's the end of this push, finally. Twilight Archon expires too. 85 seconds until that returns. Tyrael is already back. He needs to head to that bot lane as catapults are beginning to accumulate. 3 catapults already down there. A 4th on the way. EPunks, that clear from Yrel has saved them and put them in this position, but that defense from Menagerie was superb. Maka surviving, and the pull of the Punisher onto the keep was beautiful.
Damn, this game turned quickly. The attack at the top shrine by the EPunks, finally successful after the entire game. They couldn't find the kills that they needed, and finally they were able to pull that off. And then the defense from the Monkeys. After EPunks did everything right. They destroyed the fort after the team wipe. They went straight in for the keep. Nearly took it down too. But then the defense of the Monkeys was strong.
Yrel is going to wipe these catapults. Takes them down, so that removes the pressure. Alex, of course, he is the global hero, though. This is where the Monkey Menagerie gain yet another advantage. Their wave clear is for starters faster, and for seconds, global.
But now we are in the situation that you talked about earlier, where I said it shouldn't even happen. We have 20 versus 20. Now we're having even fights between the two talents from between the two teams from a talent tier perspective. And that's where, as you pointed out, the whole arena is coming into play. It's going to be important. We're having also Get Stuffed. That's going to be huge. And Twilight Archon in particular, for those long fights that we're seeing on the shrine and around the core, are going to be great.
The Seraphim as well coming in for Yrel, giving her that great engage potential so that she's a lot safer now, which is already a huge deal against the amount of crowd control we have.
Also, in terms of stacks, Mirrodin with a perfect storm is sitting at 35 now. Quest talents are, of course, all completed. Like, they're all done. But that's still the one stacking talent that we have in play. So perfect storm sitting on 35. A bit more burst damage from Mirrodin's perspective. But yeah, this shrine can't be the last one in the game.
This is certainly the closest game we have had so far in this series, Monkeys. It's going to be disastrous if they drop this after being so far ahead for so long. Horrified Tyrael, it's cleansed out by Tyrande with that Celestial Attunement as Cass is in the backline. Bomb supplied on Maka. Scarlet Aegis, though, tanks him through it. And the, once again, Valkyrie not landing as Alex having to burrow away with those tunneling claws.
Into the Starfall right away. Low ball already trying to chase him down. Maka is low. He can't die here. Maka, Whitemane keeping Maka alive for a little bit longer. Remaballer trying to interrupt the backline as much as he can. Cass also in trouble, as we see once again Cass just shelling away with the Lightning Fury.
Cass staying alive. He's already used Ardent Defender, so he's so squishy now. They've used Sank, they've used everything, but they're still going in. Parting Gift Knocker stays alive again.
Splendor working overtime here at this point. Like, it's actually getting insane. He's keeping everyone alive, but the EPunks, they have the control of the shrine now. And Monkeys are moving back. They're starting to tap at the fountain. They're thinking about re-engaging here, but this one is going over to the EPunks. There is just no denying that fact anymore. They will get that Punisher. The main question, how deep can they push with this objective right now? Can they go for the core, or will they only go for the keep?
This fort is in the way, but it's just going to get deleted here. Absolutely almost zero defensive value. The rubble is going to put up 0 defense here as they begin moving forward.
Level 23 versus 22, 25 minutes in. Punisher baited over already.
Oh, wow.
The root after the stun onto Rema needs to be very careful here. Not popping anything at. He has 14 seconds on the avatar, couldn't even use it. Horrify comes through again, but no immediate damage. And they're trying to go for Remaball again. Remaball needs to be careful. He doesn't have Mirrodin's level 10 yet.
good Valkyrie, but no one follows up because everyone's so low here. In the meantime, Alex is doing a great job putting pressure on to Tracer, but it's not enough. He drops first. Maka finally dies, and they're doing it, Caldor.
They're going for it. They're going for the core again. They want the 3-0, and the shields are already gone as the EPunks are trying to get this game. They're going straight in, and there's just absolutely no way for a defense. The Monkeys lose the third game as the EPunks take the 3-0 lead.
Wow. That was an insane comeback from EPunks there. That Monkey Menagerie, though, that was easily the strongest performance we've seen from them so far. This is a good sign that they are on the upturn a little bit, but that's going to feel bad to lose that game.
It's a bit late.
It's a bit late. Reverse sweeps doing their thing. They have a chance.
But that was crazy from the EPunks. As I said before, that shouldn't have happened. That's a position where you have completed quest talents at that moment. That gives you a spike. You have your level 20, the position up at the top. And then all of a sudden, things go south as you're starting to lose heroes. First the trade, and then just the cleanup. As EPunks finally find the kills, they get 20 throughout the middle of the fight too. That was such a big advantage for the Monkeys heading into the battle. But EPunks, they turn it around, they make the comeback a reality, and now they have a 3-0 lead against the Monkey Menagerie.